talk about, is relationships. And so y'all want to close those doors back there? So I was given a seminar a couple of months ago, and being here in this room reminds me of doing that seminar for a bunch of men. And the theory that I have is the men that make love more often are the happiest. I mean, it seems smart, it seems intuitive, but I just wanted to prove it. So when I was out there and I said, with a show of hands, all the men that make love once a day, raise your hands. About half the room raised their hands, big smile on their face. You don't need to raise your hand. We got it, okay? I said, what about you guys once a week? You make love once a week. About a third of the room raised their hands too, and they had they clearly were not as happy as the first group. I said, well, what about once a month? And then a few hands went up. They're a little bit timid, didn't want to raise their hands. So I said, well, is there anybody out there that only makes love once a year? And one guy in the back, he's jumping up and down. I said, sir, because this blows my theory, of course. I said, how can you be so happy if all you do is make love one time a year? He goes, because today's the day. So it really puts a new perspective on things. When you think things are bad, they could be really good. So in about 2002, me and a group of friends, we all got together and we said, there's an opportunity out there because men don't do a real good job seeking health care. And as a result, they tend to die on average about 5 years sooner than women do. So we all got together, and out of that, the Louisiana Men's Health Organization was born. And I'm privileged to be the president. I got a group of friends here with me that help us put on this conference every single year. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Before I get started, where's Barry Robinson? Barry Robinson. We put on this thing every year, and I pulled in the parking lot this morning at 7 o'clock. The parking lot's full. I got goosebumps because I just can't believe there's this many people here on a Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. But Mr. Robinson was here at 4:45 this morning. Not only was he here at 4:45, but he asked, can I help? And he sat there and hauled stuff in and out of the parking lot and helped our people put this conference together. So, Mr. Robinson, I've got something for you if you come on up.
Thank you.
It's a $25 gas card for you. Use it any way you wish on your little gasoline. Thank you so much. I just couldn't help myself. So we'll be one gift short this afternoon when we do but I'm sure everybody's okay with that. All right. So, leaving no man behind. That's our slogan for this year's conference. It's a great one. And it's a well-known standard by which all military personnel live. The actual phrase that comes from the U.S. Soldier's Creed is, I will never leave a fallen comrade. It generates very powerful images, mostly related to movies that we see on TV and at the theaters. Movies like Black Hawk Down, Hacksaw Ridge, Lone Survivor, 13 Hours, and so on, where they have stranded soldiers that are trying to get out of a bad situation. Dangerous, dangerous missions. But I don't believe that you have to be in the military in order to live by this standard. Leave no man behind. In fact, I believe that you and I have many opportunities each and every day to live by this standard. For example, think about a handicapped man who needs help getting across the street. Leave no man behind. What about a friend who's lost in the world of alcoholism or substance abuse? Say it with me. Leave no man behind. What about the man who's laid off of his job? He needs some help feeding his family. Leave no man behind. The man who's lost spiritually. He needs help rediscovering God in the church. Leave no man behind. There are just so many examples. We could sit here all day. ways that we can rescue others from hardship. But what about on a larger scale? What about men who don't have reasonable access to health care? What about the man who desperately wants to be healthy, but through no fault of his own, he just really doesn't know where to start? What about the guy with a chronic illness, diabetes, heart failure, cancer? He just needs a little time to spend with a doctor because he can't ever get there. Aren't they lost too? Don't they need to be rescued? Leave no man behind. The Louisiana Men's Health Organization, our mission is to leave no man behind when it comes to men who seek health care. We spend the entire year planning this conference, this rescue mission, if you will, for every man here. This is our 16th year to bring this conference to you. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. And before I go any further, I want to acknowledge the board members. And if you would please, everybody who's on the board, stand up and be recognized. Guys, stand up. These are my friends. They help us put this on every year. Please give them a hand. It's Neil. Everybody donates their time. This year we have a new coordinator who has been incredible. I mean, look at the interior decorating she did. It's unbelievable. Miss Julie Van Scotter, she's in the back of the room. Wave your hand, Julie. She's kept us completely organized this year. It's been amazing. Dr. Phil, I want to thank Pennington and your warm arms in helping us host this every single year. It's an incredible venue. And finally, we've got Chris Blades, who's on the camera, and the WAFB family. Jay Grimes comes every year. For WAFB, we absolutely could not do this without them. You know, they reach about 650,000 people, WAFB does. Think how that benefits us trying to get the message out every year. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you. And last but not least, I want to thank you and everybody who's out there that can hear my voice for making this event possible. If you weren't here, we couldn't have the event. So the last thing I'll say is that each one of us has a God-given ability to rescue others in need. And when it comes to men's health, we hope that you leave here today not only in better health, but also with a personal mission to leave no man behind. God bless you. All right, Judge Luke Laverne, one of our board members, our treasurer, he's going to announce the colors and kick off the conference.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, at this time, I'm a retired Air Force major as well as a retired judge, but I want all of the military folks, all you veterans, to stand. All military veterans, stand and be recognized. So, please remain. All right, the rest of you stand now for the presentation of the colors. At this time, we would ask to post the colors by the Terra Junior ROTC, led by retired Master Sergeant I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the prayer. We want to thank the sharp young students of the Junior ROTC outstanding group led by retired Master Sergeant Starlet Boyd, or commanded by her. At this time, we'll have the prayer by Mr. Steve Cangelosi, board member.
Please bow your head and join me in prayer. Dear Lord, as we gather here today, we want to thank you for the gift of life and the blessings of good health. We thank you for these healthcare professionals who are giving their time, knowledge, and service to us to help achieve the goals of living healthier, happier lives. We ask that you help the men present at this conference to become a source of encouragement as we strive for a life filled with service to our families, our friends, and our community. We pray that as we serve others, we do it in such a way that you receive all the glory for our actions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Phil Brantley, who is the Secretary of the Men's Health Organization. Dr. Phil is a professor and Associate Executive Director of Education here at Pennington Biomedical Research Center. Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. My job is to welcome you to your Pennington Center. Pennington Center has been here for 29 years. It is a world-renowned research center, and it belongs to the people of Louisiana, and particularly the people of Baton Rouge. Anywhere you go in the world to any scientific or medical meeting and you say, I work at Pennington, people all over the world know about Pennington. It's a research center that does scientific studies of some of the most difficult diseases that are facing us. Diseases like diabetes, like heart disease, like Alzheimer's and dementia. Pennington does a lot of research developing new drugs. Every new diabetes drug in the last 20 years has been developed here at Pennington. We do a lot in terms of helping design diets for special kinds of diseases and other purposes. Recently, Pennington helped design a diet for special forces who are on 3-day missions, food packets that would be lightweight in an Army pack and a special forces team that would keep them awake, keep them fed, keep them going with a lot of energy, and the special forces love it. So Pennington, again, just keeps delivering. We want to apologize for the room you're sitting in today. It's a good thing, though. We finally raised the money to redo the acoustical tiles in this auditorium. We've been using it for 25 years. The Men's Health's been using it for 16 years. And you know how quiet it is in here usually. Now every little sound we can hear. But hopefully within the next 7 or 8 weeks, this place is going to be like a brand new auditorium, very acoustically well balanced and well developed. And so next year, you'll have a brand new auditorium that with the highest acoustical sound technology that we have. Many of you have been in research studies here in Pennington. If you've been in a research study at Pennington, raise your hand. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your participation. There's a lot of other studies going on right now. One study in particular that we need a lot of men, and I think you would like this, they're developing some of the newest imaging technology here that can spot cardiovascular and other diseases long before they would become obvious, say, at a doctor's office. And they've got this new machinery. It's safe, but they're still trying to learn to use it and learn how to compare the readings on that with other kinds of machines. So if you've got time to come in and participate in helping them get those instruments tuned up so we can do some really good research, I think they pay you $50 to come in and participate. But it would be a nice contribution to scientific research here. And there are other studies you can sign up for that are down on the lower level, and hope you'll look into those. These are good things for the people of Louisiana. It exposes people to Louisiana to some of the newest medical treatments and technologies before it's made open to the public. Thanks a lot. Have a good time.
All right, guys, if you don't mind, turn off your cell phones so we don't get disrupted throughout the day. Just quick flip of the switch. Thank you. Up on the screen are our sponsors. We could not put on this conference without them. You've already enjoyed breakfast this morning from Whole Foods. We've got Our Lady of the Lake, Pennington, Blue Cross, Capital One is our major sponsors every year. WAFB, we've already mentioned, incredible media representation. Mary Bird Perkins doing the cancer screenings. Charlie Veluzzo's Companies is going to has served you coffee this morning. We're going to have Fresh Kitchen. It's going to serve you lunch this afternoon. You combine all this with all the medical screenings that are available to you today. The ticket is about $2,000 that each individual person is probably going to be able to have access to today. So return the favor by patroning our sponsors, and when you can. And when you go in there, shake their hand, tell them thank you for supporting Men's Health. I also like to thank my colleagues who have donated their time on a Saturday to come give your lectures. I'll go through them real quick. Mark Posner, who's a very good friend of mine, he's a urologist. He's going to be right here, and he's going to be talking about the 5 main urology problems. And we won't limit it to the 5. Obviously anybody can raise their hands, but it's going to be a free-for-all. Every year we do prostate disease and BPH and cancer and blah, blah, blah. We said this year, let's hit the top 5 and then open it up for questions. So anything's fair game. Holly Clegg, if you don't know Holly Clegg, she's written 10 recipe books, one for cancer, one for arthritis. She's probably one of the most well-renowned culinary experts in Louisiana who writes recipe books. She's going to be on this stage, which is very interesting because on the pre-registration, more people registered for her conference than they did for the cardiologist. Can you believe that? So people want to hear what she has to say on eating if you've got elevated blood sugar. And she's a phenomenal speaker. Then you got Nakia Newsom, who's a cardiologist. He's going to talk about palpitations, those silly little things you feel in your heart, and you wonder, golly, is this abnormal or not? Am I fixing to have a heart attack or not? When should I go to a doctor when I'm feeling stuff in my chest? So he'll talk about that. Hank Iserloh, he's an orthopedic spine surgeon, another great friend of mine. Any patient that I have that has back problems that I think might require surgery, I send to Dr. Iserloh. And I called him and asked him if he wouldn't mind sharing his expertise this morning. Low back pain is probably the number one cause of absenteeism from the workplace in this country. So everybody's got back pain. When do I need to go see somebody? If you want to know, go to his lecture. And then finally, Donald Carson works with me at Our Lady of the Lake. He is a great-looking sports medicine guy. I asked him to speak about all of us in this room that do stuff on the weekends that we probably shouldn't be doing, whether it's softball, cutting down a tree, throw the football, and we wind up getting a sports injury of some sort. Tell us about them. When do we need to go to the doctor? So in your packet, you've got a map that sends you to, it shows you where all the screenings are. The ones that are important are going to be different for everybody, but you got colon cancer screening, you got skin cancer screening, and prostate cancer screening on the maps in your packet. This year we've got vision screenings. It's going to be on this floor down to your right when you exit the auditorium. Upstairs we've got blood sugar, blood pressure, stroke risk assessment, heart rhythm assessment. And then this year, as a first, in room 324 upstairs and to the right, we're going to be doing dental screening. So if you think you got a jacked up mouth for some reason, go see the dentist and he'll take a look for you. And then downstairs in the glass room on the left, we've got body mass index, body fat, cholesterol, sugar, cardiovascular, and some other screenings. So have at it, guys. I mean, this is your conference. This is your chance to get as much information as you can about your own health.